Welcome to the maritime city of Liverpool, situated in northwest England where the River Mersey meets the Irish Sea. Liverpool was a major trade and migration port from the 18th to early 20th century. It is also, as everyone knows, home of the Beatles. Fewer people know about what is perhaps the biggest deception of our times, the Paul is dead conspiracy. Contrary to popular belief, band member Paul McCartney was decapitated in a terrible car accident on September 11th, 1966, and was subsequently replaced by a mysterious doppelganger. Known as Billy Shears, William Shepherd, William Campbell, and simply Fall, among many other names, McCartney's replacement went on to lead the band until their breakup in 1970, and continues to masquerade as the real Paul to this day, undetected by the masses. I've come here to continue my P.I.D. investigations and separate fact from fiction once and for all. Join me as we make our way to Penny Lane to get a feel for some of the Penny Lane-Denny Lane connection in the P.I.D. field.
Denny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. Denny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. Denny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. Denny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes.
So here we are at Penny Lane. There was an informant that I met earlier today who told me to come here. He gave me some notes, some really interesting information about Penny Lane, Denny Lane, ex-guitarist from the Moody Blues, later formed a band with Paul McCartney, Wings. Now, Penny Lane, Denny Lane sound very, very similar. I don't think that's just a coincidence. Was Penny Lane sung by Denny Lane? Is that the clue to who really sang it? So, apparently, Denny Lane was originally contracted to become the next Paul McCartney, but something went wrong along the way. He didn't look exactly how he needed to look. However, Billy Shears was a far more talented impersonator, so he got the job. Bill was the face, Denny was the voice. They made a good team together. Bill couldn't do it alone, he needed more time. With all the surgery and preparation it meant to last years and decades, Denny had to step in as the voice of Paul McCartney. Denny Lane is in our ears and in our eyes. Denny Lane forever. A reference to Strawberry Fields Forever. He is good looking, which can't be bad. She loves you, and you know that can't be bad. Got to be good looking, because he's so hard to see. Denny Lane is the voice on Penny Lane. These revelations have provided me with some food for thought. So I've decided to wash it down with a relaxing drink in one of the Beatles' old haunts. I've come to visit the Paul McCartney bar, home of some of the world's leading Paul McCartney experts. I've asked some of these guys what they know about Paul McCartney, the whole conspiracy, and they don't seem to know what I'm talking about. I think they might be hiding something. In the pub we can see a Deal or No Deal themed slot machine. Could this be a reference to the deal made by the Beatles' management and Paul's family to keep his death under wraps? And here we can read some of Paul's most candid lyrics. The long and winding road. P.I.D. buffs can easily decode the message. In the song, Paul describes a feeling of inevitability towards his difficult transformation from Billy Shears to Paul McCartney II. No investigation into the Paul is dead conspiracy would be complete without a visit to the famous Cavern Club, the band's old stomping ground in the early days before Paul's passing. This is a place where the Beatles cut their teeth, performing up to 14-hour-long sets every day, a far cry from the Fall era when the band would concentrate on recording exclusively for fear of being exposed.
picture of Ant and Dec, the famous UK TV presenters. I think there's a lot in terms of how they're connected to the Beatles.
Among the various memorabilia on display, I began to notice an increasing number of clues pointing towards a certain someone.
Well, since I've been in the Cavern Club, I've discovered one of my biggest theories about the Paul McCartney fiasco involves a guy called Denny Laine, the guitarist from Paul McCartney's band Wings, and I've just had my suspicions confirmed.
There he is, the man himself, anonymously sitting in with a local band.
It's him! It's really him. I never thought I would find the real McCoy. And he's here.
The Denny Laine sighting raised more questions than answers. Perhaps he longed to revisit the time when he briefly doubled for Paul by singing the song that originally featured his vocals. We can only speculate. Our final stop on the journey is a statue based on Eleanor Rigby, titular character from the Beatles song. Eleanor Rigby is a particularly interesting song as it was written by the original Paul McCartney in 1966, but strangely influenced by his replacement. It's thought that Paul and Fall were communicating through dreams at this time. Paul was well aware of his imminent demise and wanted to emulate elements of Fall's songwriting style in order to make the transition less noticeable. In that sense, it could be seen as a Paul-Fall collaboration. I think I'll sit here for a while to contemplate the mysteries of P.I.D. and ponder the implications of the Denny Laine connection. Denny Laine is in our ears and in our eyes.